Hey everyone, Laura with My Very Own Quilt Shop. I am basting a few little quilts today since our table is relatively clear. So I thought I would just show you real quick how I pin based my small quilts. I've pin basted larger quilts as well, but lately I've been taking those out to get those done. So let me show you where I'm at with this small quilt. Let me flip you around. So this is my little Kira table runner, and the batting I'm using is super clingy. So I've actually been carrying the whole thing around, showed it on a live show, and it doesn't separate at all. So to save time, I just pressed the whole thing. I put it face down, I pressed the back, smoothed it out, flipped it back over, pressed the front. Since it's so clingy, the only thing I've secured to the table are the ends, just for a little bit extra security. So I just used our packing tape and taped that down to the table. I'm using one of those old banquet tables. They're really sturdy. This one's on blocks, but I mean, it doesn't move anyway. If I'm doing a larger quilt, I use binder clips to center it and attach it to the table, but I don't need to with the small quilts. I've just taped both ends. I didn't even tape the sides since it's so clingy. And then I use pins, as I mentioned, and I keep them in this frosting container. I keep them open, which saves you the time of opening and closing them all the time. So I highly recommend just keeping them open. As I pull them out of the quilt as I'm quilting, I just put them right back in the container and then they're ready for me. Most of mine are not the curved kind, although there are some of those in here. I don't really find that I like those any differently than the other ones. Some are brass, some are the nickel plated. I think they're Sullivan's brand. Anyway, just your basic small. I like the small basting pins, not the super large ones. They don't leave big holes in your quilt. The big ones leave really big holes. I have used those for a trapunto class, but that's it. So they do have their purpose, but for this stuff, I use the small ones. And then I've got 4 going across here. I don't remember exactly how wide the table runner is, but I would say my pins are spaced about 4 inches apart, 4 to 4.5. You don't want too many pins. It's going to get very heavy when you're trying to move the quilt around. Plus, as you're quilting around the pins and removing them, the more pins you have, the more times it's going to trip you up to try to either avoid them when you're quilting or to stop and take them out. So to put them in, and you can see I have half the quilt in, and they're all left open. This is something that I've tried the last few times. It was a tip I read online somewhere, that by leaving them open until all are in and then closing them all at once, you're not pulling up on the backing and possibly causing puckers. So I've been trying that. Jury's still out whether it makes a huge difference or not. I don't get a lot of puckers on small quilts anyway. So you just put your pins in like that, and then I'm going to close them all at once. I do have a quick clip closer, which is really handy, and I have forgotten to pull it out for this video. So that will be, let me flip on. That is something handy. It's called the quick clip. It's got a little wooden handle, and it's got a grooved end on it that you can grab the pins. Otherwise, you can use your fingernail. Your fingernails will take a little bit of a beating. Or people have used spoons, just little teaspoons, to lift up the end of the pin in order to secure it back shut. So that's just a little quick video on how I pin based my small quilts. I've got 2 other ones in the queue. So maybe as I get to quilting these, I'll do a video or 2 of me quilting them, doing some simple free motion quilting. So hope this helps you out a little bit if you want to try pin basting your small quilts.